Welcome to TrailManners, the podcast so dedicated to mountain trails and running that they broadcast out of a 78 Volkswagen bus in the mountains. Who does that? Eric and Joel are your hosts and will bring you the trail life as you may have not heard it before. You hear about everything from gear reviews, nutrition to keep you upright and moving forward, and they'll even bring guests into the bus for conversations that you won't hear anywhere else. It's time for some running adventures on a higher elevation. The old 78 Volkswagen bus is fired up and headed to the mountains. Here are your hosts for TrailManners, proudly representing the 801 with their passion and love for the trails, Eric Manning and Joel Hatch.
Welcome to the TrailManners podcast, episode number 26. Today, we're going to be talking with Mr. Nate Graven. So if this is your first time listening, then thanks for coming. The TrailManners podcast is produced every week for your enjoyment, and show notes are found at trailmanners.com. Come back often, and please feel free to add the podcast to your favorite RSS feed or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at TrailManners. All links are in the show notes. Now let's get after it. Okay, welcome to another episode of the TrailManners podcast. On location again today. We got Joel coming off some yard work today, right?
Yep.
Right on. That's where I've been all morning, too.
Not done. Got to go back and do some more after the interview.
A little break in time, right?
Yes.
So we wanted to just quickly touch on a few things before we get into our show and with our episode. And it's been kind of a fun week for us, right? So
I think so.
So just a quick follow-through. We've done 26 shows, okay? We've got 50,500 feed plays as of today, which I'm pretty excited about.
I think that's a lot.
48 states. 48.
So what two are we missing?
Right? I mean, there's 50.
Right.
Last time I went to school. Nebraska and West Virginia.
Uh-oh.
I mean, come on. 2 states, and we can block that out.
Right.
So 2 states, Nebraska, West Virginia, we need your help. Get on this. If you know someone there, send them a link. Let's get this knocked out, right?
There's got to be a couple running stores in those states that should listen to us.
They really could. And
right?
I think it'd be fun for them, right?
I think so.
Throw it on the PA.
Yeah.
We're in 40 countries.
That's pretty impressive.
That is, right?
Yeah.
I've got
that's
all that
really
info.
crazy.
Yeah, right?
That's a little weird, too.
And the countries, obviously besides the United States, which we're huge in, by the way, New Zealand and Australia seem to really like us.
I could see that.
So I'm down with that. And then
the
runners. UK.
Yeah, another one. I can see that.
Those are our top 3 countries right now. But, I mean, they're coming in from all over. So that's been a lot of fun to check that out. Guess what our number 1 episode has been? The most listened to episode to date for the TrailManners podcast.
I don't know. Generally Eaton?
Luke Nelson.
Ooh.
Right?
Of course.
And
I was going to say maybe Turtle Miller, too.
That's, you know what's funny? That's the close second, extremely close. And I think it might have to be just that whole van, that whole day.
Yeah, that was a good day.
That was a fun day, right? I mean, we had a lot of fun.
So maybe we need to have a death match between those two.
Oh, there we go. Have them both on at the same time.
Again.
And just see what happens.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
And they can go for bragging rights. Because our first show came out November 24th, so we've been doing this for just a little over 4 months.
Really?
Yep.
November
24th was our first launch.
Oh, man, it seems
right
a long
before
time
Thanksgiving.
ago.
It does. And it's April. It just turned April. It's my sister's birthday, to my big little sister.
So we've been doing it, what, 5-ish months now?
A little over 4, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It took us a while to get going.
Yeah, it did, but that's okay.
So, and then there's a lot going on. We're from Ogden. Some big news coming out of Ogden yesterday. The new slogan. Did you get a chance to see that?
A little bit. I'm a little bit fuzzy on that one right now about what's going on with it because I see this ad.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of money go into that ad.
$130,000 went to a company to come up with Ogden's new slogan, their new feel, and it's going to be...
What was it called?
Still Untamed.
Oh, I thought that was something about freaking. Yeah. Did you see that one? It's like Ogden, I freaking love it or something.
Oh, no,
like
that's
that?
what the girl, the Scothern from the Golf Foundation, when they asked her what she thought of it, she said, I freaking love it.
But no, there's an actual ad.
Is there?
Yeah, with some dude skiing on the front. There's
I saw that one.
Some checklist of something. I thought that was the ad.
Yeah, well, I mean, it could be the ad, but the slogan is Still Untamed.
Well, gosh, I could have told them that for a fraction of the cost.
I would have
right?
bid 125.
Yeah.
I would have came in 5 under, so
Yeah,
they could
yeah.
have saved a little bit. But yeah, so because Utah, we had bootlegging, we had prostitution, gambling, all that stuff.
Lots of heroin.
Yeah, so now we're still untamed because there's just a lot going on in the outdoor world. So, I don't know. That's kind of interesting. We'll have to get some feedback on that one before we go.
Yeah, I need to see what the logo and all that kind of stuff looks like, the branding.
Yeah.
Because what I saw yesterday, I was a little bit on the fence.
What it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like that slogan, that motto. We'll see how that. I mean, I'm sure there's a shirt coming out this week on it. There's a lot of that.
There's a shirt coming out. Somebody's gonna have one out fast.
And today, Barclays started. This is a Saturday. We're recording on Saturday for our Tuesday show. Barclays started today.
Yep.
There was American River today.
Yeah.
Gorge 100K was today.
Yep, up there in Oregon. We got a couple friends running that.
Yeah, so our next little episode.
There's something else. Behind the Rocks, is that today?
Yeah, Behind the Rocks in
Behind
Moab.
the Rocks
yeah,
is running
Justin
today.
Rick's race down there. So.
And then next week, Zion.
Yeah,
Zion's next week.
So we're in full swing. We're in full swing. And, some other things we've been working on. We were in an actual recording studio this week.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
And we were with a local stud musician, David Owen, working on some intro jam. I keep going back to our faces, right? Because we went in with an idea of what we wanted for we're not musicians by any means, right?
No, we're hacks at that.
Big time.
Yeah.
And so we went in the studio and we're like, hey, this is kind of what we're looking for.
We were like, dude, we want something funky.
Yeah.
And what was funny is he thought we said folky.
Folky, yeah.
And he kicked out like 5 or 6 folk tracks to us like a month ago. And we're listening to him. We're like, man, he's missing the mark on this.
Yeah. And it was just the F word got switched. From folk to funk.
And then once he figured out what we wanted, oh my gosh, man.
That was, what I compare it to, I was thinking about it too, because we were in there and he just hit it, right? And we'd look at each other. It's almost like the facial expressions we were making and the way we felt was like the first time you use a bidet, right? You don't know what to expect. You don't know what's coming, but once it hits, it's like, yeah, that was it, right?
It's the money spot,
It's the money, right? Because he was crushing it on the guitar.
Oh, then he picked up the bass. Oh, man, the bass. When he put that bass down, in addition to the guitar, it sounded so good.
Yeah, so that's we're looking forward to that.
Yeah,
that's
that'd be good.
Hopefully coming out on this show, if not the next show. So we don't want to rush
we
this
need
process.
some sweet vocals.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I wouldn't mind some.
Not maybe somebody can sing for us.
Oh,
We can get Lindsay. Lindsay Locke can sing for us.
I had a meeting with her yesterday.
Yeah.
And I gave her our intro, and I said, what can you do with this? And she's excited to get on that.
Yeah.
And
she can talk all deep and kind of seductive.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
Yeah, whole different mark on the show. And then we got our Boco hats. They should be here within a week. Our new hats. I saw you rocking yours in today. I'm still jealous that I don't have one. And
that's because you got Gigantor head.
I do. It's a huge melon. So
so
that's not on there. So those are almost here. Shirts, they're getting low.
Some visors?
Visors.
What's going on with the visors?
Visors are ordered.
Are they?
They're ordered.
So we 4 weeks out from those?
Yep. I just ordered 40 visors.
Nice. Now you guys have to get on this. These are sweet.
Those are sweet. Boco.
If you want to pre-order those, go ahead and get a hold of Eric.
Yeah, let me know, because there's only 40 of them, and our other hats obviously went quick. We're on our second round. We don't get huge amounts of them, so they're going pretty fast. Shirts are getting low. We'd love to see some photos of you with your gear on.
Yeah, that'd be
tag
nice.
us on Instagram. I know we've seen a few of that. And then spread the word, right? Spread the word about
Always.
the show. Let's grow, right?
Didn't we have somebody buy something recently off of our recommendation? Was it some company in Georgia?
Oh, yeah. So we, on the show, and this is why we're going to go down this road, is on the show, we've talked multiple times. We had Lane Fark on talking about crewing and stuff, and we've talked about Squeaky Cheeks.
Yeah.
Okay, because we use that product. I use it, right?
Yep.
And I got a phone call from the owner of Squeaky Cheeks saying, hey, there's a store in Georgia that just ordered Squeaky Cheeks from listening to your show.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool, right?
We probably need to do a Squeaky Cheeks demo of how to use this
Oh,
stuff.
that would be fun.
You know what I mean? Because it's not
fun.
like a glide.
Yeah.
It's a powder.
It's a powder. It's talc-free, so, it's healthier. I've been using it, I'm going to say 4 years now, 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, I guess 3 for me.
Yeah, and I use it. I got it on today.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's good in the yard, too.
Yeah, it does. It keeps that
You defunctify,
that
right?
Oh, my gosh.
So So yeah, we'll get some info out. If you're interested in anything with the show, talking about your product, let us know.
And even like a race. If you guys want us to promote a race, get a hold of us. You kind of know what the criteria is for that.
Yeah.
We already promote a handful of them that we really believe in. So there's always room for us to promote more, I think.
That's right. Oh, for sure, because that's what we're here for, right?
Yep.
Things we believe in, I think, is the end of the thing with that. So,
I
Joel,
think there's another way they can support us.
What's that?
Gift certificates, the grounds for coffee.
Oh, yeah.
So we can get some dirty chais.
Yeah, because I'm hooked on those things a lot. Ever since we went to Park City Running Company.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been pretty. I can't go without one, almost one a day.
I'm like 2 a week.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd hit one every day if I could.
Oh,
that's like a pocketbook buster.
I go out of my way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking under couches. You probably saw me on the corner off the freeway.
Oh, yeah.
Over
Over there at the sign.
Yeah.
We'll work for a dirty chai. Yep.
I had a few people stop because they didn't see the chai part.
Yeah.
So.
They just saw dirty.
Yeah.
They're
So
like,
they
I'm going to
stopped.
see what this is about.
Yeah, right.
No, those things are great. That would be a great way to support us.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're friends with Pliny and an elder, that would be a good way to support us too.
Yeah, we'd like to get a photo, a selfie with that whole deal, right?
Yeah.
Get nice and
If
close
somebody
and comfy.
wants to, sponsor us a trip down the Russian River, we'll do that.
Well, yeah, because I
could-
think
we
they
could
should be on the
podcast
show.
out of there.
Yeah, we'll get a sponsor for that. That's a goal. That's a pie in the sky, right?
Why not? Let's go for it.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you introduce this week's guest because
right.
we've had the name's been on, I would say, a third at least of our shows.
Yeah, probably. Maybe even half.
Yeah, maybe even more. So in there. So I'm going to let you go ahead and do the introduction because I'm pretty excited.
Yeah. So I was just thinking about this morning, how far back this person and I go. And I think it was 2005, maybe 2006. I was running the Mid-Mountain Marathon, and I was just having some issues at the end of the summer. Mid-Mountain Marathon's up in Park City.
Yeah.
It goes from Deer Valley over to the canyons, and it's just on this really great course. So if you're ever looking for a great introductory trail marathon, go hit the Mid-Mountain Marathons in September. But I was looking for somebody to help me with some injuries that I was having. And this must have been 2005 because I was down doing my grad work at Tosh, and Christy Spence was down there also doing it, and she goes, "Hey, I've got a guy in Ogden." And I think I was living in Salt Lake at the time. She goes, "You need to check him out." So called him up, and he was in this little dumpy, strip mall with a chiropractor, and I go in, and he walks out, and he's like freaking huge, and I'm all worried because here's this big guy, and I'm just nervous because I've never had work like this done before. But right away, it was just like, this is it. I found it, right? And we've just kind of cultivated this relationship over, God, it's been almost 10 years now, man. It's amazing that he's been working on me for that long. Wow. And I still have really bad junkie form, despite our best efforts to fix it. But, over the last 10 years, he's really helped me. He's helped out a ton of people. Our guy, Nate Graven, we're in his shop today, his studio,
That's
his
right.
massage parlor. He just wrapped up a whole bunch of work, and this dude is busy 8 hours a day at least, which is crazy to think that he sees that many people every single day.
A lot of people beat up.
Yeah.
It's that time.
He sees that many people every single day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 5 days a week, almost every single week throughout the year. Yeah. So our guy, Nate Graven.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thanks for taking the time to be with us, actually, because like I said, we've talked about you a lot. So now it's people know you're real.
Nice.
Yeah, right? Yeah, because they're like, that's a mystery guy.
Yeah, that
is.
is.
He's real.
He's real, because we have a lot of people
We'll
that
show up
that
every
come
once in a
here.
while. We're around.
Yeah.
Snuck out to see you guys at the island, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's
crew
right.
out there.
Yep.
Saw you working on some people
Yeah.
out there. Yeah. So I'm gonna try and kick us off because I want to know, where did this start? Right? Where did you jump into this? Where did you decide this is a route you wanted to go?
Yeah. So my own injury, that was at that time, years ago, I was playing on a local semi-pro football team and had my own injury. I said I actually had an impact trauma on my low back, SI joint dysfunction going on. Went the classic route, a lot of pain management. trying to do the right kind of just physical therapy, trying to rehab back with the team, and just wasn't making gains. Got referred to an athletic trainer that was doing some of the more sports-based deep tissue massage, and night and day difference. I mean, it was what turned me on. It was the same thing. It was like, this works. Why wasn't I doing this before? Why wasn't I adding this for all kinds of aches and pains, and that started my path. And we had one of the massage schools sending therapists to our team at the time. So I just totally started abusing those student therapists. I would be on that table all the time, and work this, get after this, and that then just through learning and just slowly picking up. Just recommendations for other work and trying to figure out what would apply more for me as what I considered, an athlete looking for, let alone recovery from pain, but maybe a performance edge. And there was a growing element that is sports massage at that time here locally. And that ended up turning me to the Utah College of Massage Therapy, who at that time was tied in with a lot of the local sports med. They had a relationship with the University of Utah. They had a relationship with Tosh, with IHC. They were doing clinical interns at a lot of the different high-end teams. We had some of the, before Real Salt Lake, they had a local soccer team, a pro team that was doing. And so it just felt right. And so I pulled the trigger and went that route. It was, end of a old life, on to something new. I came from a mechanic world. I went to university as an auto mechanic. I graduated through Weber State in auto service. And was working at a car dealership. I was working at the Honda shop at the time. And that was leaving that, pursuing something totally new. And it was through UCMT because of my own injury. So
different type of body work, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
On some
different oil on my nails,
Yeah.
stuff that comes off.
Yeah, cleans a little easier for sure.
Well, then you guys work together too, right?
Mm-hmm. We did.
Yeah.
So initially, I saw him for probably, we did a 10 session.
Structural integration.
Yeah.
Went through the Rolf series.
Exactly. And it hurt like hell.
Yeah.
But it really does.
Functional
it
change.
helps. It really does help.
Goal-oriented body
I
work.
actually have done it, I think, either 2 or 3 times now over the last 10 years, and I always feel just great because it's 10 weeks in a row, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, there's a new level of pain every week because it's a new section of the body he's working on. And you're just trying to change this outcome, this function, the way you work. But, yeah, I mean, we did probably maybe a year.
Yeah.
Was it a year?
Yeah. At least that. So if it was 2005, because it was right after that. Because you recruited me up with Meet Melanie. You guys moved into Weber State.
Yeah. So I got him to come up to Weber State when we were up in the balcony area.
Yeah.
He got himself a little room up there, and that's just when
it was an upgrade.
Just
Definitely
right?
an upgrade.
And it just blew up because it was this nice synergistic effect of we had the athletes in there, we had the rehab patients in there, and then we had Nate's clientele in there, and it was just we were referring all over the place to each other, and it just blossomed. It was cool to see.
Well, as an athlete, that's like one-stop shopping.
It was.
Really,
It was
for an
way
athlete.
cool. It was a pretty unique thing that we had going on there for a couple of years.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Yeah. Well, and Joel's the one that turned me on to Nate. Because I'm always dealing with something, but it seems like it's lower back pain, and it was the same way when I came in. Nate's like, okay, squat down, do this. I'm like, yeah. Mm-hmm. It gets me on the table, starts making me cry a little bit and bite my hand, and I got off. I'm like, hey, wait a minute, that kind of works.
Oh, yeah, it works.
So I think Joel was hiding him from me for a while.
Well, yeah, because I knew what I had, right?
I'm like, oh, there's the advantage.
The thing is, even now when you talk to the people that are hurt, you're like, you got to find a guy.
Yep. Yeah. And we keep saying that.
Yeah.
And there's a lot
or
going
gal.
Or gal.
Yeah. Right. You just got to find your person.
And so you're busy right now. I mean, you're always busy, but now you're kind of peaking for marathon season.
The road circuit season's here. Everybody's ramping up for the trails. I help a lot of just random athletes, too. I mean, we get all the different team sports that are tied to spring that, want to tune up, even if it's on the performance side, or if you get banged up and you need a quicker recovery because your season's going, you got to get going. So we get, a lot more calls right now, a lot going on right now. So.
Well, you get a pretty good variety of athletes coming knocking on your door, too. You've got little, 8, 9, 10-year-old little leaguers, and then you've got all the way up to, professional athletes that you see. So I think that's really a testament of your skill set and just your bedside manners, too.
Well, it's truly a fun side of this work because you never know who's going to come through the door, and you'll get a young one. I literally had some youth swimmers that are national level swimmers, and you got a 9-year-old. You don't think you're going to be sore and have pain, but these guys are holding themselves to some pretty aggressive training schedules and developing some overuse. And where I come into play, besides just what would be a recovery tool, is maybe we can do some mechanical advantage to help them a little more efficient with in their case, their swim stroke. They're a little more functional range of motion, a little more breathing capacity. Good tool. So that's and then I'll adapt to an ultra runner, someone that's just beat down, right?
Abuses themselves.
Yeah, these guys, it's a different vibe. Someone that'll truly go through discomfort on a good day out there on the mountain, suffering through what blister, what this, what chafe. It's just part of the deal, and just trying to help them out. So it's fun. It's actually good for me to have different seasons and get new people in because you keep sharpen your skills.
That's right. Yeah, I think over the last 10 years, and there's some standard like skills or movements that you use.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the last couple of years, you keep picking up new ones.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I want to try this. And I'm not nervous anymore when you say that. At first,
mostly a good outcome.
Right. And
mostly.
Generally, when you say that now, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
This is going to be good. I'm going to enjoy this.
Before you're just laying there with, on a table, and he's like, okay, let me try something.
Yeah.
Well,
the good thing is you always have your clothes on when he says that.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what?
Yeah. Well, I do. I'm not sure what's going on with you.
So and go ahead.
So I was just saying, working with Joel is truly, that's awesome too, because him being next level strength coach, he gets it. He knows, let alone his own aches and pains, but we can game plan what's going to work and not work. And he'll come in and have an idea, and then you can go after that one unique problem. And if it worked out, I'm stealing that and going to use it on anybody else that has that same problem.
Yep.
And it's great.
Well, and you do so much like different levels, because I've come in before like pre-race.
Yeah.
I've got a big race this weekend. He works on you differently. You come in after a race, he works on you differently. If you're not racing, if you're just training hard, he'll work on you differently even then. Yeah. So it's really customed to the athlete and the person and kind of what they need. So it's not just, my lower back hurts, but I come in, he's got my feet, he's got my neck, he's got it's a whole body thing, right? Because it's all got to work out.
Everything's so integrated, connected.
Now, what is there like so you went to UCMT.
Yeah.
So, and I know, like Joel just mentioned, you kind of still go and get different little tools to use.
Well, there's always continuing education,
yeah.
right? I'm at a point now where it tends to be a little more on what would be medical level rehab. It's, I get that opportunity to work with some other good physical therapists, some other medical community, some docs that kind of keep letting you know what they're doing. There are all kinds of new things happening in the surgery world, right? People that are getting total knees or getting, when I started with work, someone coming off of a, substantial knee surgery, they would have been casted and non-weight bearing for a while and slowly doing them. Nowadays, you are on that thing right away. Mm-hmm. And the damage that was incurring from the intervention of surgery is so much less. And so stuff I can do now and complement that person's rehab is next level. But I also need to have that opportunity to know what's going on with that new cutting edge thing. So that's where I'm at now. I get a chance to work with some other good folks, some other, docs that come in, I get a chance to work with and things, and they'll let me know what's going on, and then I'll try to keep my skill set growing with what's trending, in this, what would be rehab world. So,
because it's different than your couple spa package,
for sure.
Than the hot stones
definitely.
And the Swedish, and
we
this
were
is
just
like
talking about this today. My wife and I were driving. We just went to Lowe's, and there's that Massage Envy over there, and she looked at. She goes, "I went to one of those one day, and it's just not the same. It's going to see Nate." And I'm like, it's almost
different
like a waste of time.
Different goal.
It really,
right?
And I had the same experience. Someone gave me and my wife a couples massage. So we went in, and I'm like, okay, well, number one, that's weird to me still, And so we go in, and, these beds side by side, ladies jump on, and they're like starting. And I'm like, are we ready? And she's like, I'm about done, And I'm like, oh, it's totally different.
It is.
It's just a whole different ball game. So
yeah, well, I've had some clients told me I've ruined their spa day. I had some ladies
Yeah,
that
right?
like to go for their big weekend retreat, and they'll straight get upset with their therapist if they're they'll say, "Well, do something here."
Yeah, right?
They'll explain an injury, and that's that therapist, I'm sure, is giving their best effort, but it is a different goal, different treatment
Yeah.
plan, So, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
this. I think that's the thing that you're going to have to figure out is when you find your guy or gal.
Yeah.
Is that they have to have that skill set.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the new students that are coming out of the massage schools haven't been given that opportunity because they are really kind of directed towards that massage or that spa environment.
The bulk of the industry is that. I mean,
Right.
it is. I mean, it's trending huge. Like Massage Envy, they are a franchise that's out there. It's nationwide, and they have a style there. They have their signature treatment that they want their therapist to do to get a good outcome every time, and that's great. But if you're looking to do more clinical application, you're not going to get that in that training. It's just a different setup. It's a good starting point as a therapist to get going.
Definitely.
You need that skill. But there's more. There is definitely more. And I was fortunate. In fact, it's kind of a challenge now. The education I was afforded, that opportunity I had, it's not really available right now. I had a sports track right off the bat, sports training. I did all my extra sciences were at the U. I did my anatomy at the U, my neuroanatomy at the U, my exercise physiology at the U. I mean, I had a lot more opportunity to interact with next level professionals, and it's just not available now for that. You'd have to seek that out on your own, or go to I know there's some good schools in Colorado, some other places.
Yeah.
So in a way, it's kind of a rough deal for therapists that are even trying to pursue this now because they have to kind of get their own legwork. Where mine, it was all packaged deal
Right there for
it was
you.
for me. So good opportunity.
So let's talk about the benefits of this type of body work, because people are probably out there like, well, why should I go do it?
I got a foam roller. I got
exactly. I got a
little
foam roller.
stick
I got a little crossball.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, and those are all very good tools,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's doing your own self-work, using that Theracane, using the roller, getting after the lacrosse ball. That's very good. And I always try to coach people up on how to use those tools, hopefully more effectively, and try to complement what I'm doing as a treatment. But it's the fine-tuning, it's the sculpting work. I mean, we are manipulating fascia. Fascia is the connective tissue that gets bound up. It's the matrix of the body that restricts movement.
It houses the muscle.
It houses the muscle. And
muscle.
all the other tissues, like
Right?
all your vascular tissue,
Yeah.
all your nerve tissues, they are all encased in this material.
And it's not like, you can't think of it as a segment. You got to think of it as like this basically continuous thing from the crown of your head all the way down to your little pinkies, right?
Should work together.
Yep.
And when it's not, it's
when it's not,
breaking
you know
you apart,
it, right?
And that's when you'll be symptomatic. I mean, that's one thing with certain athletes or certain runners or injuries. You're going to be symptomatic to a certain problem, and of course, you need to change where you hurt.
Right.
But the one thing I will take with my work is what's going on that made you injure that way in the first place. Is there a causal factor that you can work toward to create change so you don't get the same problem in that same tissue, change the pattern, right?
Yep.
Get a new result. And that's when people are using any common runner injury. So runner's knee, IT syndrome stuff, right? That outside gets stuck and it's hot and you're rolling it out and you're trying to get movement in there and you're rolling out that lacrosse ball. And if you're really doing a good job, you're getting into your hip and you're getting your hamstring.
Yep.
That's great. That's getting some movement. But why is that so loaded up? Or do you have a leg length discrepancy? Or is your hip loaded? Are you hinging through your knee different? And there's a lot of stuff. Well, I try to work toward those goals. If we can get you mechanically more sound at those joint spaces, get those surrounding muscles that cross that joint, set the position of that joint to work better, then you're going to, let alone hopefully unload the pain in the moment, but start changing the causal factor, change that pattern, make it a lasting effect. And then, for people that are just training otherwise, can you be more efficient? Can you get more from your training because you're moving better? Can you recover faster from a hard effort because your tissues are more supple and they have more efficient circulatory response, less heightened nerve pain,
So we've talked about it before, and it's just like you mentioned before, you have all these other tools, and that helps. But, again, you're kind of isolating it, right? So you're working on an isolated area where you, again, like Joel just mentioned, head to toe.
Exactly. Well, and that's a big part of what I do, and I try to coach up, therapists I influence, is you got to work with symmetry. Even if you just have that one trouble spot, your good side is favored, right? You're limping, and that your good side can be a problem too. So I really am big on balancing things out. Let's work where you got your trouble. Let's work toward changing maybe the cause of that trouble, but let's get everything moving a little better. Get that system working a little better. And it's you just need that other care. We all have neck and shoulder problems, right? I mean, it's living, it's life. You can sleep wrong and tweak your shoulder.
Yard
your
work,
neck,
right?
Yard work.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a real deal. So if we can get you feeling a little more supple, get a little more movement, it's helping out. It is. So yeah, that's big. In our clinic model, when you go in for physical therapy, it's a little harder because it's broke down on just even the way insurance pays. They can only, you get this diagnosis for this treatment. Here's our set of tools we're going to use to fix you for that. And, a good PT is going to do a great job, and they'll try to coach up and do some other things too. But they're stuck with how they get compensated and how they treat you and how much time they have to give to you.
They're also kind of bound by whatever physician is referring them, right? The physician will have a protocol.
They'll have a game plan.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's good to a point.
Oh, yeah. But if you're, you still want to have that performance and you get... how am I going to not re-injure this same thing, right? Am I going to stop this problem in the first place? That's just more time, more effort. And it's a lot of times the therapists do not have that available to do it.
Because they're seeing, 3 or 4 people an hour.
Exactly.
And they can't dedicate more than 15 minutes to seeing you. And then you're seeing some treatments. You got some aide that might not know what they're doing.
Exactly. Well, and this can come in. So in our setting at Basics, that was truly the thing. We had the injury come in. We had PTs. She was assessing them. She had them dialed in. When they got graduated to the point of exercise, Joel's doing the strength and conditioning side, bringing them back, return to sport. And then they would be able to use me or the other massage therapist throughout that process.
Right.
Are we doing inflammatory response? We doing circulation early on, post that first acute injury. Then they're getting more stable. We're helping to range of motion. When they're getting to the sport part, we're going to start doing fine control on range of motion, doing more of that last restriction that's maybe holding them back.
Right.
And so, it's more specific work that can tie in the whole structure for a good outcome.
Right. So you just brought up something I think that's really important, and I wanted to talk about today was kind of that inflammation response, whether it be from trauma, it can be from surgery, or it can be just from going out and running a 50K, 50-miler, marathon, 100-miler. I think that's really, really important for the recovery process, wherever you're at. And I think that is what's helped me out a ton, is seeing you before and after an event, or even when I've had surgery, seeing you afterwards, I've always felt a million times better.
Yeah. Well, and that's that tool alone, just the massage. We can get some good lymphatic drainage. We can
Right.
open the doors to give that fluid a chance to flush, so you don't get that edema, that just swelling response as much.
Right.
I mean, it's going to happen. I mean, that's your body is doing its job. On an injury, it's those mediators of inflammation go to that site. They're causing a chemical response to keep you from re-aggravating it first off, but to stimulate a healing response.
Yeah.
But that gets too stuck, you're going to be sore.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
if we can get some of that moving, if we can open the door so you can get some of that flushing, that's such a good tool. And then, post-race, when we were out the island, you get your hands on someone and you can do just a little bit. It's not the corrective style work in that setting.
Right.
But you just get a little bit of those mechanisms working for you. You get up and you're moving, right? You start that healing process faster. Just complement some of that healing. So
I think one, it really struck me. I mean, sure, we did a bunch of work, over the years, but it always surprises me, and I remember this very specifically. This was at the Rain Bear a couple of years ago, and I got to mile 75, and Nate's just hanging out, waiting for somebody to work on. And I was done. My knee was not going to let me go on any longer, and I just was grouchy, and I was wet, and boy, I was muddy too.
it was bad.
And so this is mile 75, and so we're in the ski resort lodge, and he's like, well, here, let me work you over. So he worked me over a little bit, and I got up, and I was like, I feel 100 times better. And I was like, dang, if I could have this every 100-miler, that would be awesome, right? But I remember the next day, I didn't even feel like I ran 75 miles. So it's pretty powerful.
Yeah. Well, and in those settings, I mean, that was a hard day for you guys. Anybody I got
it
my
was
hands
hot,
on there,
and
was
then it rained.
rough, right?
It rained.
And when your body's that bound up, anything that can get things just unload a little bit, right? All those healing mechanisms are in your body. It's just trying to coax them back to working for you.
Right. Oh, yeah. Like it kickstarts that process in a way, right? I mean,
Exactly.
it aids it. It's this... Yeah. It's like this complementary thing, and it's I can't say enough. Yeah. I know that Eric and I keep saying it over and over again, and I think once you find your person, you're gonna be like, I see what you guys are talking about.
Well, and there are some good folks out there. I mean, I know this is obviously nationally and even outside the country, some good.
right,
Well, there
40
is good
countries.
body
Yeah.
workers. There is sports medicine-based massage therapy growing.
Yep.
There is. So I guess that would be the trick, is find you a therapist that is trying to do more corrective work. I mean, there are some key words. It's, myofascial release or organization,
Right.
A little more sports recovery, but it clinical application massage.
Yeah.
And it's, if you find your community, I'm sure that the word gets out. I mean, it's more of a word of mouth thing. Right? And a lot of people will say deep tissue, right? Well, what's that mean? Is that just deep pressure?
Right.
You'll talk to a new therapist and they'll say how deep they can work.
Right.
You put your elbow on someone and put all your weight behind it. That's pretty deep.
It
What are you
is.
trying to accomplish with that? That comes down to.
Exactly.
And that's a good therapist will know structure. They'll know movement. They'll be able to explain what they're trying to accomplish and have a game plan. And then you do get a good result. Get a good outcome, and then you'll let the other people know. So, yeah.
Well, and so, like so many shows we've had, when we've had like Ty Draney on, or coaches or things like that, nutrition stuff with Suzanne Lewis, it's kind of the same process, right? It's like interviewing them getting to you to find that right person.
Yep.
And I mean, I hate to say, I just looked at Nate's book on my way in, and he's booked till November.
Yep.
So you're gonna have to find somebody else.
Totally.
I am at a place. I got a bit of a closed practice right now,
Yep.
So, but we got
Hands
there
off.
are some good people. There are, and we can try to refer you to some good people if you're local here. and
Yeah,
need
if you're
it.
local here, we can refer out.
Yeah, for sure. Just get a hold of us.
Yeah.
But it's fun too, because Joel mentioned. I mean, Nate's mentioned being at the island. Joel mentioned being at the Bear. But you look around it, because we're in his little massage area. He's got a Hardrock 100 bumper sticker.
He's been down there.
He's
Yep.
been so you've
there a
been to
couple times.
Hardrock
I've been
a
to
few
Hardrock.
times. So
Yep.
he's traveled with some of his clients
Yeah.
to their races, to their big races.
Yeah.
So give us an example. You went to Hardrock. Give us
Hardrock's great.
Yeah.
And that was just for me, just being in that country, it was just seeing that big range. I mean, it's something. I mean, it's imposing just walking around there, and what a unique opportunity. People obviously put that race at a different standard. I mean, if they're going to that race, they're going to train at a different level. They have a different expectation, and they're going to get a different outcome from that race. I mean, it's everything everybody says, right? I mean, it's that hard. It's going to be that tough. And for me as a therapist, what a fun opportunity if I can help, because it's, if you're that beat up and, you're going to have to drop, or you're not gonna make that cutoff, or it's just there's just so much more emotional and physical torture that comes with that race.
Right.
So me as a professional, if I can help in the moment, get you out a little better, what a good tool. And it really is fun. Like with Corey and John Woj and Tom. I mean, we've had some good folks over there, and just seeing them overcome it's awesome. It really is. And hopefully being able to contribute to their success that day. So it's fun. That was a great opportunity. Anytime I get the chance, that one I'd go.
because you do that a lot. I mean, you've been to Wasatch, you've been to Bear.
The locals have Bear a few times, Wasatch when I can, for sure.
The
The
islands,
ones here, the island, for
But
sure.
You've
So-
also gone to some, outside of the ultra running.
Oh yeah.
You've been to
Well, I've been to Olympics.
the Olympics.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I
Silly.
started that first in 2004. I
Yep.
had the opportunity to go to Athens to work
Yeah.
on a sport massage team. A lot of at that time I was working with a lot of the track athletes. So Mike and Christy Spence, great athletes,
Yep.
and Mike got me a chance to travel with him, and
Yeah.
what an awesome opportunity. So
Right.
Olympic trials and U.S. championships and
Yeah.
open road race championships, and there to support him specifically, but always trying to reach out and help where you can.
Yep.
Getting those medical tints and help the community. And then just here, Ogden, we have such a good running community here. I mean, Weber State, for their level, is national.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they are. High school level. So we just had City County. We have two Ogden kids that
Yeah,
are
I
around
mean,
a
the
national
Ogden
level.
kids are
They just
freaking, like,
literally setting records.
Top 3, right?
They're
I mean, they're
well,
fast.
and all of them.
something.
I mean, Davis, nationally ranked.
Yeah.
Bonneville's getting
The
so good. We got
stinkers.
some good programs here that, they just get to come through my door. I get
Yeah.
a chance to be around and hopefully help some of these talented kids. And
Yep.
so, running here is huge,
It
and
is.
you guys contributing to the ultra. I mean, ultra scene is huge. Look at this participation. Look how many sellouts happen right away. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
It's
you got to get
it's
on
almost
it.
sad
So,
anymore.
yeah.
You know?
Blown up
So,
over the last 5 years,
yeah.
last 10 years.
Me as I'm fortunate to get to reap some of those rewards. 'Cause
Right.
you have that race on the calendar. You're going to train your butt off to get there.
Yep.
And
Now
you'll have
you-
something sore.
You work with other, I mean, you do how much is running part of your practice
It's
now?
right now the biggest for sure, as
it
far as one
75%?
element. Right now, I bet it would be. So when I was in the clinic setting, when we were doing physical therapy, and I had in that office, we did a lot more post-surgical, and we did a lot more team and the university athletes, right? Because I book many hours a week for that crowd. Right now, my private model is just establish relationships with clients that are booking out and want to stay on your books. And so that's the running community. When I can, I try to get more acute injury people in. If you get someone that's jammed up, you do what you can.
Right.
Like this week, I had a couple random. We got some kids that are trying to hit it. NFL opportunity. Pro days were going. We had some NFL combine kids, and those you're doing some performance work. That last thing they're trying to potentially go get a dream and a job next level, and so that's fun. But it's runners. It is. So today, Saturday, we had the Ogden Half Marathon Winter Series going. That thing's a monster. Golf took that over, got a great job going. I'm sure it's 500 plus, probably something.
Probably easy.
Yeah. And that's all just people that are holding themselves to another standard, and so I get a we grow with that. So.
And they're working towards the marathon, which is in May.
Yep. Yes, we got the 21st
now
this year,
to May
21st.
You're just like slammed.
Well, that's for me, if I literally was trying to get a new one in, I'm pretty much would be out till after May. That's just how.
But there are other people in the office.
Oh, yeah.
So there is other people in the office that are training under him, learning his techniques.
Right.
For sure. So, there's that opportunity as well. But you've worked with, and you were mentioning this, I think you might have something going on this summer, too. You might be traveling for Olympic trials.
We do have, local runner, Amber Schultz, she's doing great. And Amber's going to be steeplechasing, and she is going to be going to the Olympic trials held up at University of Oregon, up in Eugene. And we got a couple other locals that are right there. So we'll see how that comes together. But I am planning on being at the trials with her. We are just starting to ramp up hers. So in fact, next week will be probably officially her first outdoor track steeplechase. She'd been doing some indoor track and got the chance to go to the U.S. Championships for indoor this year. And so I will be traveling with her where I can. I'm going to get down to the Stanford for a big, pre-Olympic invitational, and that's a fun opportunity. You get down there, track's huge there, and you get a chance to go up to Oregon. That's Tracktown, USA.
Yeah, I got a challenge for you. You need to grow a Steve Prefontaine mustache before you go. Wouldn't that be cool?
Heck yeah, dude. That's whole handlebar mustache.
That would bounce.
Yeah, right? I'm sure Lindsay probably won't like that, your wife.
Yeah. Stop.
Mama not happy.
No. So when do you go up to Oregon?
She actually has her preliminary round on the 4th of July. So it'll be that July this year. It's usually in June, it seems like to me, but it's, this year it's that first week of July. Wow. And, she'll have a preliminary round, and then she should get through that and get to the finals, and if she goes top 3, Olympics. So,
wow, that's amazing. And Joel, you're going to have to find someone to help you out before Beaverhead now. He'll be gone.
Yeah.
It's just a little one though, right?
Yeah, it's just 100K. I'll be all right. Yeah, no biggie. Goodness. So over the years, you've helped out a lot of runners, and we've had the Weber State kids and the University of Utah kids that are going out for the pro days, and there's this other university in the state. And unfortunately, you've had to go down there and help them.
Well, and that's I always say
they're good kids, but it's unfortunate you had to actually go down to that campus and set foot on that campus.
Huh? Yeah,
exactly. Did you Did you do some Hail Marys afterwards and just try to
balance out?
Right?
Huh? Yeah,
but that's another good opportunity, right?
It is.
You get to go look at this next level of athlete,
and it's
right?
always kind of a fun thing. So I did last year help out at the Y quite a bit. I had just some individual kids.
You don't have to say the name. Yeah. It's okay.
We had some local kids literally Ogden kids that got up and were down there, and Pove was awesome athlete, good kid,
great athlete.
And I went when I could to help him out, and so that is I always, even from my side, kind of a funny thing. I have had the chance to be in helping at the university level, at pretty much everywhere but the U.
I know.
I spend my money at the U, but they don't want to come back the other way.
He's the biggest Ute fan ever. But here's this opportunity to go down to that other school,
the rival.
right?
Go
Help the rival,
right?
And being the good guy that he is, he goes and he helps those kids.
He does it.
Right, he's that dedicated.
Yeah, well, then there's our We worked a little deeper on rivalry week, probably.
Oh, there you go.
No.
We'll get to that next level.
That's right. Making them a little sore than they should be.
So you brought it up briefly, but if someone out there is looking for something along this line, maybe they're an ultra runner, maybe they're a trail runner, or anything we've talked about, and you drop some keywords, what kind of questions should they ask to get something similar to this as opposed to like a spa day?
So just clinical massage, right? But it really is. So myofascia, that myofascial release, myofascial mobilization. I mean, that is the medium that I try to change. I try to organize connective tissue that is the myofascia. It's a malleable tissue that we stretch and organize and try to move around and put in a place that's more stable, more mechanically sound. So you heal better, you move better, you're run better. And so that's the trick. I mean, there's a lot of good other therapists. I did get the chance to train in a lot of other styles, like Russian sports massage, which is very segmental. You kind of go choppy, one treatment to the next, doing just general recovery, lymphatic drainage, ice cup massage. I mean, these are all good tools. They really are. But for me, the one tool I use is myofascial organization. It is deep connective tissue work with the goal of creating change. So, and then it just, other modalities. I mean, really being skilled with all the available tools. When we were in the PT setting, we would have access for the stim, the ultrasound, the now training, a lot of PTs are doing the needlework. They're doing a lot of that.
Right?
There's a lot of other corrective tools
Yikes.
that I feel I can complement, because this style of massage is a good tool. But all those other tools definitely have their place. And I want to say that if you're seeking someone out, I mean, having someone that kind of has some good referrals, knows those other good people, that matters too. Because I'll get people in and, I'll do the best I can, but I'm not diagnosing or prescribing something.
Right.
I'll give this, do what I can in the moment. But if I know someone needs next level, we're going to get you on someone else's table or get you to the right doc, the right PT.
I think that's pretty important, right?
So,
Well, and it's all about finding what works for you, because I've come in here, I've been coming in for a few years now, and I know we've had discussions about there's like the cryotherapy, there's all these other things.
I want to try that.
Yeah, and it's more or less the lines of try it, see how it works for you. Right, because not everything works for everybody. Everybody has a different outcome or something else.
You got to develop your bag of tricks, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
and that's what we talk about. Every time you talk, it's like, well, it's a different tool. Whether you're hiring a nutritionist, hiring a coach, buying expensive shoes, getting whatever it might be, you're putting money here, right? And so this does cost money, but it is another tool.
Yeah. This is
take
the
you
best
to the next
money
level.
you can spend,
Oh,
really. I mean, because it not only is it going to help you run better and you're going to recover better, but it helps you you're healthier.
Yes.
Over the course of your life. And that's really what you're after, is having that optimal health. So that way when you do get 60 and 70, you're functional, you're on your own, and you're still enjoying life.
Yeah.
And I think this is probably one of the greatest tools you can do besides eating better.
Yeah, and that's a lot more work.
It is. It's really easy to crush the Easter candy at the house right now.
Here you can just come in, lay on a table. That's it. That's your effort. That eating right, you got to oh man, I'll unwrap it. I'll just have a bite.
I'll just have a bite.
I'll have a bite.
Yeah, the bite turns into, why did I do that?
Half gallon of ice cream was
Yeah,
good.
right?
I didn't want it to melt, so I had to kill it.
I didn't want it to melt. That's awesome.
So we're going to definitely be seeing more of you, obviously, coming up.
Yeah.
And the one thing we didn't touch on real quick is, Nate runs, right? We've seen him on the trail.
No, definitely.
He's got a dog.
He's got a dog.
He's got a
I
dog.
get dragged around by a dog.
Yeah,
Jasper does some good pulling.
Yeah, he's got this.
Poor guy's stuck with me. I wish he did have a runner.
He's got this big wolfhound.
It
thing,
is. He adopted.
right?
It's like a rescue or something, too.
Right? So it's like a miniature Russian wolfhound,
Yeah, that
right?
thing's
And so
awesome.
that's his excuse for going out to run,
Yeah.
right? Gotta get the dog out.
We'll try to go climb up Malins a little bit today.
There
That's
you
the
go.
plan.
Hey,
We'll
that's
see. We'll see.
that's
if we
stout. There's a lot of people on the trails today. I
Yeah.
drove by all the trailheads, and they are packed.
Nice.
Oh, that's because it's gorgeous.
It's a beautiful day out, So, I mean, that's really all I have.
Yeah.
I think you've answered a lot of things. And again, everybody, if you do have questions, definitely let us know. I mean, we
Or
see
if you got
Nate
a guy.
Yeah.
If you got a guy, and say you're in Salt Lake or you're, up in
Butte.
Pocatello or wherever else, let us know, and then that way we can maybe start a collection of guys.
To go to out of
That's a great
state
idea.
and-
I will get opportunities when I work races. You don't know who's on your table, right? I've had people from out of state, and I will get that. I'll have people ask me, who can I find do that? Now, there are websites. In fact, there is the Massage Therapy Association, the AMTA.org. You can go on there, and there is on that website there is a Find a Therapist link, and on that you can pull up and look at a bunch of therapists and what their background, and stick to that myofascia, sports med, those kind of things. But that's the tool I refer. But really, when it's a direct referral, it's always better to be able to say this name, go see this guy, and that's great. I mean, my whole practice built.
We
word
need
of
a
mouth.
database.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I got an idea for this already. We need a database. We need a website where you can find your guy, and I think that name is already in my phone. Find your guy.
Nice. Yeah.
So don't try to steal it, folks.
Because that's the thing is, like, with all these different countries. I mean, if you want to, you can't Google something like that. I mean, you Google massage parlor and you're going to Thailand. That's a whole different ballgame.
You're getting in trouble, man. The police are knocking on your door.
Yeah, right. So it's good. The referral thing's good.
Yeah.
And it's also, within your community. If, like I said, Joel referred me, so I knew okay, this is where to go.
Right.
And when. Since then, and we've had so many other people that have come through that channel.
Hundreds, at least.
It's like,
Joel's been good for business.
Yeah, it's like that pyramid scheme, right?
Yeah,
so
totally.
Joel passes it down here. I gave it to 3, and they gave it to 3, and it's like get these arms.
Well, and with his training too, that was I'll get that all the time.
Totally.
So
beating
Joel
people up.
just
and
lift harder. Are you lifting enough? Are you going fast enough? Well, you can go see Nate.
That's right, pretty much.
That's how it is.
Yeah.
Well, I started seeing Nate when Joel whipped out the Black & Decker buffer.
Oh, yeah.
On the one day.
Yeah, that's another show. So if you don't have a guy, and I'm serious, folks, on this, all right? So you're gonna think this is the biggest joke in the world, and I know April Fool's Day was like 2 days ago, but if you don't have a guy, and for some reason you don't have a lacrosse ball, and you don't have the black foam roller, and you have to have the black foam roller, don't get the white one because it's a sissy. You need to go down to Lowe's, and you need to get the Black & Decker car buffer.
It's like $20.
It's $29. It's the best $29 you're ever going to spend.
Put the blue pad on.
Yes, and put the pad on
and get after it.
And I'm serious, folks. This is like second to our guy Nate. Really, it is. And I thought it was a joke too the first time I saw it, and I was like, well, what do I got to lose? It's $29, and every time we whip it out, people think it's a joke, but then I'm like, try it. And then next thing I know, they're calling me from Lowe's. What was that thing again? I'm like, it's a car buffer.
And the funny thing is that was me. Because
Yeah.
you pulled it out on me. I got on the ground, and I'm like, what are you plugging in? What is going to happen? Everybody's watching. You hit me with it, and I'm like, wow. And then like a couple days later, I literally texted him from Lowe's. What one was that again?
I know that's another pyramid scheme, man. I've sold so many of those things indirectly. So yeah, I'm serious. Black & Decker. It's the orange one. I don't know. It's 6-inch round guy.
Put that blue pad on there, and it's go time.
It's money. That thing warms up.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's pretty. Looks like I'm busy tonight.
Yeah. So there's another tool for your arsenal, folks. Don't be afraid of the Black
Don't be
Decker.
afraid. But yeah, shoot us some questions if you have any, because like I said, we see Nate. If you do have that guy, that gal in your area, let us know. We definitely compile something to let people know. Because again, this is a tool. This podcast, we're here to help too, right? I mean, we're not here just trying to have fun. We want people to learn. We want people to get some ideas, some tools. So this is a huge tool, though. This is to me like, I don't know.
Besides nutrition, this is the biggest.
I mean, it's hard to rank in different levels, but it makes such a difference. And like Joel said, not just in running or cycling or whatever you're doing, but in life. I just did some hard yard work today, and I think I have an appointment this week, so I'm good. I'm covered.
There you go.
Good. So that works. So Nate, thank you so much. Not just for taking the time today, but for keeping us on the trails. There's a huge community here in the Ogden area that thanks you and talks about you nonstop, and I'm sure we won't stop on the show either. So thanks for coming on. Thank you for listening to the TrailManners podcast. We'd like to thank Nate Graven for joining us today. We'd also like to encourage everybody out there to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Share us with your friends. Let them know where we're at. Swing by our website at trailmanners.com. Check out some gear. Order the gear. Take some photos. Send it our way. Tag us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook so we can see what you're up to. You would also like to hear from everybody to see what topics you want us to cover. Is there someone you want us to speak with? What do you want to know? So until next time, this is Eric Manning with Joel Hatch reminding you, you don't get what you wish for, you get what you work for. Now go get it.